Figured out how to control the pencil smoothing. If you double click on the pencil itself, you get to control whether it's draw smooth lines or so-called accurate lines. Let's see what accurate lines look like. Yep, like that. What's the next setting over? Because it started off in the middle. Yeah, that'll probably do. All right, so that's the one I'm going to go with. That one right there. And what am I going to do next? I'm going to draw another series of mountains. The closer mountains we're going to fill with a darker color. We basically want to see all the mountains in the back, but I am going to have this little swoop. The one that goes up over there. Okay, so pencil tool. Just draw some kind of mountains. Maybe move the dots around a little bit to make it look better. If you want that Bugs Bunny plateau look, you could remove these handles in order to give it a flat top. I don't remember how you do that. The anchor point tool, I think. So select a point, then come over here with the anchor point tool, click on its handle, it's flatter. Click on that handle, it's flatter. Anyways, I don't know if that's going to look dumb or not, but kind of Southwest desert looking, right? If it's got the flat top. That's my hope. That's my hope for what it'll look like. How's that look? Especially once we fill it in. I don't know. Where'd it go? Here it is. I'm going to use the pen tool to extend it. Click, 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 click. And what color do they want it filled with? Dark blue, 12, 22, 55. $12, $22, $55. Yeah, like that. And they want us to do the same kind of thing that we did on the other one. Make a little copy of it. I'm just going to option drag it and grab the one that was behind it, fill it with a different color for now so I can see what I'm doing. Kind of shrink it in like that. And they wanted a gradient, but I don't know. I kind of like that purple. I think that may be just about enough. I think that's enough. I'm not going to mess with making a gradient on that one. Now, eventually I'm going to want to cut these edges off, right? We don't want to see our mountains like that. So let's create the sun. With the ellipse tool, create a circle, fill it with a black to white gradient, radial gradient. Change the blending mode to color dodge. Well, the color dodge doesn't look so good if I'm not in RGB mode, so I'm going to check to see what mode I am in. Document color mode RGB. Good. Alright, so draw an ellipse. Fill it with a gradient. Radial gradient. White to black. They want that black diamond dragged like that far over. And then go to the blending mode to change it to color dodge. Okay, so dial that over to 76% or so is what they said. Go to transparency, choose color dodge. Kind of cool. These mountains probably need to be moved up though. See if I can select the entirety of the mountains and group them together so I can move them as one thing. May need to stretch them down a bit. Alright. Anyways, what I'm thinking is they show the mountains covering like half the screen, and I didn't draw it that way. So then I'm going to double click on one of these and use the white tool. No. Click and release, then click. Click and release, then click. Click and release, then click. Right, whatever. Okay, so now the mountains just about reach the top of the sun, or they get up to the sun, right? And I've lost part of the mountain. I shouldn't have been moving around, but I'll see the white part in the background. Let's see if I can go and find it. Where'd it go? There he is. See, that's why I tried to group you. Alright. It'll look better once we cut this stuff off the side. Now to create the fluorescence around the sun, make an ellipse whose center coincides with that of the sun. Fill the ellipse with a partial gradient from yellow to black. And set the blending mode to screen. Okay, so big circle time. So put a gradient on it. They had yellow 255.194.82 to green, to black. So this side needs to be yellow. The colors they specified were .255, 194, 82. It's supposed to be radial. It'll look better when it's radial. And nothing in the middle, nothing in the middle. This part's supposed to be white. Oh, to black, not to white. All right. Then set the transparency mode to screen. I don't particularly like that. And here's what I don't like about it. I don't like having this hard circle here, right? Visible there. I don't know whether to put a Gaussian blur on it, because they don't mention anything about a fix for that. Well, that's better, but I think I would like it if these purple mountains were moved forward so that they weren't covered up by the halo. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a little too emphatic. But what I mean is I'm going to select everything and ungroup it all. And then I'm going to click that purple piece that's behind everything, if I can get it, and bring it to front. And then click the darker purple piece and bring it to front. And I don't know. Do I like it with the glow visible or not visible? Can't really decide. If I want that glow to be visible, I can always just click that and bring it to front. Alright, I'm going to leave it alone. Go with it. Comes out every time I do this. Comes out different. Let's create the clouds. With the pen tool, create an arbitrary cloud-like figure and then modify the opacity of it to 30%. So I'm just going to draw a little figure like that, and I'm going to make an art brush from that shape. So I don't know why I'm using a pen tool for this when the pencil tool is so nice. I'm going to use the pencil tool. Choose the pencil tool, but make it smoother, right? So I'm going to set the setting to smooth. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Just trying it out. Pick a nice color for it. Right? Probably better be the pen tool. Let's just do what they want. There, now I have a puffy cloud. Fill it, I guess they said with white, and set it to a transparency. 30% opacity. And then drag this figure into the brushes palette and select new scatter brush. So it's going to be a scatter brush, not an art brush. So set the opacity to 30%. Bring up the brush palette and drag this onto it and make a scatter brush from it. I don't think they suggest making any changes to it. Enter the values indicated in the picture below. Okay, what do you know? They do suggest making changes to it. I'm gonna have to memorize them all. I wish I had. 68 to 230 random. Oh, these settings look considerably different nowadays, don't they? 68 to 230 random. Whatever. And then spacing is 20% fixed, and the scatter is 66 to minus 141. Okay, so the spacing is fixed, 20%. Not getting it exactly. Scatter 66 to minus 141 random. 66, whatever, to minus 141, whatever. And then the rotation 0 degrees, rotation relative to page, method tints and shades. All right. So now I should have a brush that draws clouds. Create two curves with the help of the pencil and apply the created brush to them. So you see what they did? They just drew a curve. Alrighty. So deselect everything first. Now just draw some squiggle and another squiggle. Well, I'm going to undo that. Before I undo that, I'm going to select the brush. Why don't I just draw it with the brush? Anyways. It seems way too large to me. I'm going to try drawing it with the brush tool. Alrighty. So now I have all those clouds, right? They said only draw two of them. I guess I got a little bit more exuberant. Theirs looked better than mine did, even though I had the same settings. Probably has to do with this random sizing, right? Maybe I draw my initial cloud too large. What if that had been smaller to begin with? And what if it had been set to go from random 60 to, not that large, not 230. I think that's a mistake. 150. And they wanted the spacing fixed to 20%. And then they wanted the scatter set 66 to minus 41. I think I had 141. We just went 66 to minus 41. 66 to minus 41. Rotation there. Tints and shades. Click OK. All right, now let's try it again. I'm going to grab the brush tool again and draw some clouds. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks better. And then we're going to Gaussian blur them so that they're going to be very faint afterwards. And then we're going to set them to overlay. Okay, so let's select our clouds. I'm going to select one cloud and then select everything with the same opacity. Would that do it? No, that seems to select a million different things. Appearance. Select everything with the same appearance. Nope, that also gets the oval. No, that may be the trick. But it didn't get that. Okay, I'll just select them by hand if I possibly can. Click on that one. Click on that one. Click on that one. Click on that one. Gaussian blur. What are those suggested settings? 40 pixels. And then set it to blend. So in the transparency palette, I never can remember how to, okay, there it is, right? Transparency, set it to blend. Am I missing something? Oh, was that a setting in the Gaussian thing itself? Let's try that again. No, it's not there. All right, here's what I'm puzzling over. There's this thing that says set the blending mode. Oh, not to blend, to overlay. Okay, I can do that. Transparency, overlay. And there, now we have our very faint clouds. So now to create the sunlight, we're going to make a triangle, and we're going to apply a gradient mesh to it, and then we're going to start adding some colors to it. So here's what our gradient mesh is going to look like, and then we start adding some colors. So let's draw our triangle. Grab the polygon tool, click and release, 3 sides, stretch it out. Temporarily, I'm going to fill it with black. I need this to be long enough to go from the center of the sun all the way to the edge, so I hope it is. Right? Or actually, it needs to be long enough to get to, well, I don't know how long the rays need to stretch, but probably to the edge of the paper, right? Or not. What are they going to make it look like? Yeah, they want it to go all the way past the edge of the paper. All right, it's probably big enough. Now I'm going to put a gradient mesh on it. Object, create gradient mesh, 4x2. And then with the white cursor, I'm going to start adjusting the colors. So like this one needs to be really bright, you know, and that needs to be kind of orange, and that needs to be kind of orange, and that needs to be orange, and that needs to be orange. Let's play with it and see what we can do. Select that one, put a color on it. Select that one, put a color on it. How far up do they want the colors to go? Maybe that one as well. And you can adjust the angles of them with these things, the handles. Right? All right. There, now we have a sun ray. So duplicate the beam and rotate it around the center of the sun and change its width several times until you get an enclosed solar crown. All right, we've done this before, and it's not going to look exactly the way that it does on theirs, but it might be good enough. I'm going to use the rotate tool. And then I'm going to Option click, Alt click. I'm going to Alt click right here. And it's going to ask me how many degrees to rotate it. Let's see what 15 would look like, or 20. What did it just do? If I choose OK, is it going to really look like that? Wow, never seen that. All right, I probably, yeah, deselect, reselect, choose the rotate tool, Option click, 20 degrees. I don't know if that's going to be too much or not. I'm going to choose copy and look at it. No, that may be about right. And then I'm just going to repeat that, right? I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So what is the repeat key? Transform again, Control D, or Command D. And then modify the sun corona by moving the points of the gradient grid on separate beams. So we don't want everything to look so uniform, right? So on some of them, I guess what he's saying is like choose that anchor and move it down there so that it looks brighter. Well, that's not doing right. You know what I typically did is I'm not seeing how I can do this, what I'm thinking of doing, which is to actually stretch them out like that. I think I shouldn't have rotated. I think that I should have started it out with it being pointing straight up and down when I applied the color, because now when I try to change its shape, it's got this weird rotated rectangle around it, right? So it's making it hard to adjust the width of it and stuff. But honestly, don't you think I should just be able to grab one of these points and drag it out? Nope, it's not doing it because of these middle points. All right, so I think I've kind of botched it. I'm going to go ahead and press on. Group all the beams and then change the blending mode to overlay opacity 33%. Okay. So select one of them and then do select everything with the same appearance. Group them. Go to transparency, 33% opacity. And what do they want? Overlay. Let's go look. Yeah. And how does that make it look? All right, it's too regular, right? It's too geometric. Whatever. This cloud looks kind of dumb. I'm going to see if I can make it more transparent or something, because it's see if I can get to it somehow. It's behind everything. Did I never put a Gaussian blur on it? That make it look better. All right. Now I need to move everything back. Move the halo back into the middle. Move the corona of rays to the middle. And now I need to use clipping mask so that I don't see all this stuff around the corner. So I'm going to choose a rectangle and I'm going to draw my clipping mask. It does not need to be filled with a gradient, but it doesn't matter what it's filled with. Then I'm going to select everything, Control A or Command A, and do Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And I have a little bit of artboard left at the bottom, so I'm going to choose the artboard tool and move the artboard up to match. All right, and there's my sunset. Is it a perfect sunset? No, but good enough, right? Yours will look different. That's cool. Alrighty, so that's done, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and upload it.